Hello everyone and good morning Pastor Michael. Exodus 31:16 says, "Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations for a perpetual covenant." So was the Sabbath given only for the children of Israel?
We have seen in our previous presentations where Jesus said, the Sabbath was made for man, Mark 2:27, and not just for the Jews. And when God made the Sabbath in the creation week, there were no Jews existing but Adam and Eve, the heads of the human race. Also, right in the Ten Commandments, when God proclaimed the Sabbath commandment, he included the stranger, Exodus 20 and verse 10. They are the Gentiles. Also, we see God's invitation to the strangers or the Gentiles to come and keep his Sabbath. Isaiah 56 and verse 6 says, "Also the sons of the strangers that join themselves to the Lord to serve him and to love the name of the Lord, to be his servants, every one that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it and taketh hold of my covenant." Yes, God says in Exodus 31:16, the children of Israel shall keep Sabbath, simply because he was addressing the nation Israel that he just brought out of the land of Egypt. If God said only the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, then we must conclude differently that it was given exclusively for them. Also, God said to Moses in Exodus 3:6, "I am the God of thy father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob." And Moses wrote in Exodus 24 and verse 10, "And they saw the God of Israel." Because God associated himself with the three Hebrew patriarchs and called himself the God of Israel, do we conclude that God is not the God of the whole world? Listen to the Apostle Paul, who corrects this wrong notion that some might have had. He wrote in Romans 3:29, "Is he the God of the Jews only? Is he not the God also of the Gentiles? Yes, of the Gentiles also." Though he calls himself the God of Israel more than 200 times in Scripture, we do not limit God to one nation or one race alone. Since he chose them to represent him to the world, he identifies himself as the God of Israel many times. But he is the God of the Gentiles and the God of the whole world too. King David also wrote in Psalm 24 and verse 1, "The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein." Not only God said the children of Israel are to keep the Sabbath, but he also said in Leviticus 19 and verse 2, "Speak unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, and say unto them, Ye shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy." Do we therefore conclude that the call to be holy is only for the children of Israel and not for us? Absolutely not. Peter uses that phrase, which was addressed to Israel initially, to Christians as well. He wrote in 1 Peter 1:16, "Because it is written, Be ye holy, for I am holy."
Yes, God is the God of Israel, no doubt, but he is the God of the Gentiles too, for he created even them. And Jesus, God's Son, died for the whole world. Yes, the Sabbath is for the children of Israel and the strangers of the Gentiles as well. Also the command to be holy, though it was addressed to the children of Israel, we know it is not a command only for the Jews, but for all people. Pastor Michael, could you explain Deuteronomy 5:15? Many people use this text to conclude that the Sabbath commandment is attached with the deliverance from Egyptian bondage, and therefore it is Jewish.
Let us first read Deuteronomy 5:15. "And remember that thou wast a servant in the land of Egypt, and that the Lord thy God brought thee out thence through a mighty hand and by a stretched out arm. Therefore the Lord thy God commanded thee to keep the Sabbath day. I do not understand why people conclude that the Sabbath commandment is not for Christians based on this text. Then what about the first commandment? Is it not for Christians as well? How does the first commandment read? Deuteronomy 5 and 6. I am the Lord thy God which brought thee out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. Thou shalt have none other gods before me. Both the first and the fourth commandments are given in the context of Israelites' deliverance from the land of Egypt from slavery. Therefore, he says, they need to worship him and keep his Sabbath. If Christians reject the Sabbath based on this verse of Deuteronomy 5:15, then Christians should reject this God as well, because it's the same reason he gives for both. True, God brought them, the nation Israel, from Egypt, from the house of slavery. Therefore, he is their true God, and the Sabbath is a sign of deliverance from Egyptian bondage as well. Why should we worship this true God and follow his sign of deliverance? Because even we are delivered from slavery, the slavery of sin, by the same God. Listen to the Lord who said in John 8:34 and 36, Jesus answered them and said, Verily, verily, I say unto you, whosoever committeth sin is the servant of sin. If the Son therefore shall make you free, ye shall be free indeed. So being delivered from Egypt, from the house of slavery, is not just for the children of Israel. It is for all people. And those who are delivered serve this God and keep his sign of the Sabbath as a symbol of deliverance as given in Deuteronomy 5:15. Also, God told the children of Israel to be righteous in judgment and to be fair in their balance scale when they did business with the others. We read in Leviticus 19:35-37, Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment, in meteyard, in weight, or in measure. Just balances, just weight. A just ephah and a just hin shall ye have. I am the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall ye observe all my statutes and all my judgments and do them. I am the Lord. Again, you see, God is connecting this command with bringing them from the land of Egypt. So does that mean only Jews who were delivered from Egyptian bondage are called to be righteous in judgment and in business, and not the Christians and the rest of the world? Not at all. All who are delivered from every kind of bondage by this true God are called to be just and fair in their dealings with others. Not just God and the Sabbath are intricately connected with the Jewish people, but even salvation is associated with the Jews. Listen to Jesus who said in John 4:22, For salvation is of the Jews. So can anyone say, I don't want salvation because it is Jewish? Absolutely not.
Thank you, Pastor Michael, for the clear explanation from the scriptures that the Sabbath is not Jewish, neither is God of Israel Jewish, nor is salvation Jewish. Neither the call to be holy is Jewish, nor the call to be righteous in judgment is Jewish. Yes, most of the Bible is given in the context of the Jewish race because God called them to be the light of the world in the Old Testament. But the message embraces every nation, kindred, tongue, and people. Thank you, and God bless.